Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's Daily Spirit Lift. Pastor Joseph here. I have a few things I want to share with you today. I want to talk about grief and process. I gave a sermon yesterday about grief, and it wasn't all about grief, but in the end part of the message, there was talk about how are we going to come out of this year, 13, 14 months of COVID-19. What does that look like for the Christian church? Particularly, what does it look like for your local church? I'm not thinking about a broad, overarching church. I'm really talking about where the rubber hits the road. And I said that we were going to have to deal with a lot of grief. And I still think that's true. And this message is for anybody who has ever encountered grief. And so that pretty much puts us all on the map someplace. If you've lived long enough to experience grief, maybe there are a few people who have not because of their youth or age. But in any event, one of the things that I think is troublesome about grief, one of the things that I think happens sometimes with us when we are talking about grief is that we are not aware of the way that grief really works within our bodies, works within our spirits. You can get a lot of books at the bookstore on how to grieve and the steps in grief, and there was even the talk about years ago about the stages of grief. I believe the woman's name was Kubler-Ross, bargaining and denial and all that kind of stuff. And just by phrasing it in that way, we sort of imply that it's steps. That if you're going to grieve, there's first this, and then this, and then this, and then this. That is wrong. That is entirely wrong. And I don't think it's wrong in the theory of Kubler-Ross. I don't think she meant it this way. But it's how it gets applied. That and since we're product-oriented Americans, we want to see a good product at the end of the day. We think somehow that if we could just learn the steps of grieving, then we'd be over a loss. It's not how things work. And instead of steps, and steps is a human-made invention, right? There aren't steps really in nature. Instead of steps, I want you to think of a mountain or maybe better, waves. Grief comes as it comes. And when you look out, when you go down to the beach, if you like to go to the beach, and you see that sometimes the waves come in strong, sometimes they come in weak, sometimes they come in unexpectedly, sometimes you can see them coming from far off, sometimes they break in a remarkable, beautiful spray, and other times you think they're going to break in one way and they break in another. That's how grief works. That's how a lot of things in human life work. You can grieve and experience grief in remembrance of someone while you're pumping gas at the gas station. Say, why in the world where did this come from? I thought I was over this. I know people who have grieved in totally unexpected places, amusement parks, waiting in line for a concert. People who have grieved when they're alone at the end of a long day. And it surprises people when you say to them, it surprises me when I deal with it in my own life, that things come not in a pattern that we can predict. Humans are way too complicated for that. Life is too complicated for that. And what happens instead of grief in stages, comes in waves, or it comes, you go up over one mountain, you climb up over the rocks, and then you find you find a beautiful vista, and then you find there is yet more to find. You have more work to do. So I offer that there to you as an encouragement. A lot of people are struggling, and it doesn't have to necessarily anything to do with COVID-19, although I'm certain that a lot of us are grieving because of things that happen there. But it has a lot to do with where we are, who you are, what your encounters have been, friends, family. All right, love y'all, miss y'all, mask up. We'll see you soon. Blessings to you.